What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Unaware that this was Agera's ploy to provoke him back, he kept evading Garcia's assaults with minimal movement, still without drawing his sword, injuring Garcia's pride even more. Esprit, who was witnessing this from a distance, was astounded by Agera's agility. If he's thus good in close-range combat, why is he a demon at all? He is not even capable of casting a single spell. It appears ridiculous to me. She kept watching the fight with this mix of praise and criticism running through her head. This was also sent to Carrera in real time. Garcia, evidently agitated by Agera, yelled,
"Silence! I will defeat you all and offer your heads to His Majesty, the Emperor!"
Isn't it a little early for that talk? I am a patient man in general, but I see you are impatient. But it's still not as awful as Lady Carrera. It's often challenging for me because she's so short-tempered and simple-minded.
This was, of course, immediately reported to Carrera via Esprit. Esprit never told Agera about her power since she had a cruel streak.
He's going to get in a lot of trouble later. He.
It was almost as if she were a spectator rather than an active player in this battle. But what Garcia said next snapped her back to reality.
"You call me impatient? You knuckleheads! You haven't noticed the disparity in our abilities yet. Do you mean your master is that tiny brat with dark blue hair? Or how about that spunky blonde? She doesn't require an introduction, but that white-haired beauty is as stupid as a toad in a well."
Garcia raised his spear above his head and thrust it directly at Agera. Then, triumphantly and proudly, he revealed another bombshell.
"I'll tell you this because you'd be in the dark otherwise, but there are true monsters in this world. If you understood our marshal's genuine powers, you'd understand exactly what I mean. Lieutenant Kondo is also a terrifying character. Nobody, not those ogres, and not you demons, can overcome either of them. They'll all be exterminated in a pitiful manner, like filthy insects."
Esprit ultimately stopped providing information to Carrera when things got to this point. She had become so agitated that it took her longer than intended to turn off the skill. It was, however, too late by then.
Esprit just told me a pretty funny story.
Carrera sounded upbeat about it, but her tone was already tense.
"Oh, what type of story is it?"
Ultima inquired, having already guessed what it was.
Well, the enemy inside this gate just referred to you as a tiny brat.
Uh-huh.
On Ultima's forehead, blue veins were clearly visible. It caused Veyron to panic. If this was going to happen, he wished he had jumped into a gate the first time he got the chance. Deep down, he told himself that ignorance might be bliss at times.
He described you as a toad at the bottom of a well, Testa.
A toad.
Testarossa fell silent. Many had admired her beauty, no one had ever criticized it. Being called a toad was a first in her life, and it enraged her so much that she couldn't adequately articulate her feelings.
That, and he referred to all of us as stinking insects.
Benamaru's eyebrows went up. He asked,
"First it's worms, and now it's insects?"
While not appearing very pleased, he appeared cool at first glance, but he now believes he should have intervened and dealt with this opponent personally. Only Zoe maintained his calm.
"Do you think you can keep a channel open with her in the alternate dimension created by Lady Velgrund? That is a pretty interesting skill."
He folded his arms and remained silent, his gaze fixed on Esprit. Zoe had let the cat out of the bag, and he'd no doubt be sending Esprit on all kinds of secret missions from now on, but that's a story for a future time. Carrera's report went on.
"This man said we'd never be able to defeat Lady Velgrund or that Kondo guy. I would say that he is seriously smearing our reputation. Apparently, nothing but a pitiful massacre awaits us."
She spoke in a matter-of-fact manner simply because she was preoccupied with attempting to process her own emotions. Carrera was undoubtedly capable of giving it to others, but receiving it was another story.
Well, until you enter a competition.
Testarossa said.
You never know how it will go.
They were unable to defeat Velgrund the first time around, it was true. But Testarossa wasn't going down without a fight. She meant everything she said. And her crimson eyes said it all. There would be no defeat the next time.
By the way, Carrera, there's something I'm not sure I understand. Why does he constantly refer to us as insects and worms? Is he truly so big and strong?
Obviously not. Even if he was, I wouldn't put up with this.
Carrera laughed off Ultima's suggestion, but her eyes were not smiling. They exuded a sense of peril as if they could blow up at any moment.
So there's no need to show him mercy, huh?
Certainly not. That human being has crossed a line with us.
Ultima was furious. Carrera nodded with her, fighting the temptation to strike out right now.
However, it's a pity. And here I long to use my own 2 hands to put him in his place. Tell Agera that he doesn't have to be gentle with him. When he's through, maybe I'll forgive him.
Of course. After all, he insulted us. He ought to be punished for it.
Nobody was around to put an end to this conversation. Ultima was harsh beyond belief, nearly to the point of innocence. Testarosa's frigid smile was tinted with terror, the kind that made anyone who saw it shudder. Carrera, on the other hand, was always joyfully spreading destruction and emptiness over this world. Their humane sides had vanished, they would never soothe the adversary. If providing them a painless death was mercy, then executing them as they suffered was forgiveness, in the eyes of these girls. It was death in any case, but there was a significant difference for them. While listening to his masters speak, Veyron spewed his own bile at Agera's current foe. The Devil Lords, his supervisors, were never to be offended, but here he was, yelling and raving at them. It bothered Veyron inside.
Oh, you stupid human being. I can only hope that you will bear the brunt of this folly.
That was all Veyron could hope for just now. He knew how scary Ultima could be, but the terror his former adversaries Carrera and Testarossa instilled in him was beyond expression. The fate of the world may be determined by where they direct their rage.
I only hope we can get rid of that idiot swiftly and alleviate their rage. Agera, please. You are our sole hope.
Veyron, a great demon that he was, lamented his powerlessness in this predicament. It was left to Agera, who wasn't as strong as he was, to deal with this. Benimaru had an order to give, regardless of the demon's internal conflicts.
Carrera, could you relay our message from here to the gate?
I haven't tried it yet, but I believe so.
Tell them not to allow their opponent to make any further offensive remarks.
Carrera nodded, interfering in her link with Esprit and wishing she had done so sooner.
Can you hear me, Esprit?
Lady Carrera.
Carrera gave the command, her thoughts dripping with ill will.
Tell Agera to rip him apart and shatter his soul.
Carrera's voice rang out in Esprit's head. Esprit groaned.
Oh, great, now they will know about my power.
Carrera had imposed herself on her mind, but there was nothing she could do about it. This would not be the first time her boss had treated her badly. Esprit consoled herself by calling out to Agera.
Hey Agera. Lady Carrera and the others are furious right now, don't you know? We may also be in trouble if we don't get rid of this man right away.
I can't help but wonder why Lady Carrera knows what's going on here, but let's not talk about that. For the time being, we must resolve ourselves. Our masters have been slandered. It's time to give this man what he deserves.
Wow, you seem to be equally enraged, don't you?
Esprit exhaled a sigh. Agera was normally so calm, but now he was enraged. There'd be no stopping him now, which was a good thing. If Agera was about to become serious, the best thing to do was to sit back and observe him. Garcia, who had missed all of this, began shouting again.
You guys are all so weak, aren't you? Simply give up and die. Don't worry, I'm sure all of your bosses have already been taken care of. You'll be able to serve them in the hereafter just as you do today.
This commentary was faithfully conveyed back to Carrera and everyone else through thought communication.
This man is such a joke.
What is Agera up to? Isn't it true that I just told him to whip his ass? Are you joking?
Don't make us look foolish out there.
Fortunately for him, Xian was not present. If she had been, our entire operation would have been ruined right now.
An excellent point. If you're having problems in there, we can switch you out, but in any case, get going.
It was turning into a pretty lively scene, and, if Xian had been present, Agera's requests would have been completely ignored. Not that it would bother Esprit in the least, but every demon has an element of pride they'd prefer not to see damaged. Esprit had the impression that their reputation was deteriorating by the second. This stinks, she said, and she meant it. Garcia's filthy language and behavior made him appear weak, yet he had the strength to back it up. That's what made him such an unexpected handful. Nonetheless, they were here to produce results. If they didn't beat Garcia quickly, their commanding officers would be furious. And Agera was still dodging Garcia, clearly uninterested in any type of offense. Agera would never lose unless he was mortally wounded, but if he couldn't win, what was the point? Esprit would next have to intervene with her magic, but it didn't seem like an effective strategy in this case. She had tried numerous ways, but Garcia appeared to have great magic resistance.
What's the problem? Is running away your only option?
At this point, Garcia felt comfortable. Agera, on the other hand, showed no signs of launching a counterattack.
Hey Agera. We're in big trouble here, okay? You must hurry, or Lady Carrera will unleash her wrath on us.
The full wrath of their boss would make even the most powerful demons serving her tremble. The sheer horror of it if focused on them would be overwhelming. Esprit, who was typically relaxed, was now in a hurry to get things rolling. Agera, though, remained silent. Meanwhile, Zonda was making tea a safe distance away, as if he had nothing to do with this. He apparently intended to present it to their leaders after they were out of here, but Esprit thought it was ludicrous.
Hey, Zonda. What are you doing now? I just let you out of my sight for a second.
Isn't that obvious? Sir Agera is not currently injured, thus I have little to do.
Don't give me that nonsense. Why do our leaders just seem to be exerting pressure on me here?
Esprit was practically lunging at him. Zonda smiled pleasantly and answered.
That's none of my concern.
Esprit gritted her teeth as she thought.
I swear I'll kill you.
Esprit was a count, while Zonda was a viscount, and he wasn't afraid of her in the least.
But I guess you have to be that thick-skinned to serve Lady Ultima, don't you?
So Esprit didn't think about it any further. If Zonda was worthless, the only thing she could do was ask Agera to do his best. He was clearly extremely upset, but there had to be a reason why he declined to attack. If he was hoping to hit a hole, Esprit would have to bank on it happening soon. Agera, however, abruptly startled her.
Esprit, I'll tell you what I know so far.
What?
It appears, much to my dismay, that I will be unable to defeat this man solely on my own.
Huh?
You've got to be kidding, Esprit thought. She couldn't simply contact her bosses and say, sorry, we can't. Carrera was normally a light-hearted, chill demon, but stir her up and things quickly get out of hand. She's actually watching it all right now, isn't she? Before her superiors could rage, she needed to confirm with Agera what he meant.
What exactly are you talking about?
It's quite simple. Both his attacking and defensive powers improve as he revs himself up. I just understood that no matter how many times I hit him with my sword, I'd never be able to kill him.
Garcia's defense was being raised to God-class level by the combined effects of Alternative, the Ultimate Enchantment, and in particular, its sub-skill Subjugation Conquest. When Agera realized this, he understood his blade could no longer slash through it.
Is that why my magic also didn't work?
Jinwoo's retest shocks the Hunter Association. Witness his incredible power unfold in this game-changing episode of Solo Leveling.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Miss LDW Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Stone Larone, Alfonso Smith, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, Jahid Hassan Lipu, Samuel Ward. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.